Hi, I'm Tim Stevens for PAAS, the Peaceful Animal Adoption Shelter in Vinita, Oklahoma. Many of you may already know about the positive impact PAAS has made on the unwanted, abused pet population, not just in Oklahoma, but surrounding states as well. If you missed our first video, it's called Ride to Rescue, and you can find it on the PAAS YouTube channel. As of 2017, PAAS has proven itself to be an effective alternative to euthanization for hundreds and hundreds of dogs and cats who were given a second chance to find a home and a family who truly wants them. You know, there's a terrible misconception that all rescue and shelter animals are there because something is wrong with them. The truth is that a lot of animals end up at the shelters not just because of their situations, but because they weren't getting what they needed wherever they were living before. And in many cases, health and nutrition are restored to the animal if needed, and most will be rehomed or transported in a short time. But sometimes shelter animals do come from those horrible situations. We've all seen the sad commercials of dogs and cats living in deplorable conditions, tied to a chain, emaciated, starved of the basic needs, food, water, shelter, and love. And unfortunately, in some of those cases, euthanization is the only choice because of the animal's conditions. It was just too late for them. But some just need a little extra help and attention. You could call it a rehabilitation to help them get where they need to be. And the good news is, PAAS has been working to find solutions to address these challenges. Today, I want to share with you some of the amazing leaps and bounds forward that PAAS is making, and they're not doing it alone. In fact, in this story, we're going to see how one cooperative effort has opened the door of opportunity and potential for more than just our four-legged friends in these unfortunate situations. I've got something for you to think about. What did the Northeast Oklahoma Correctional Center, shelter dogs, and PAAS have in common? More than you may think. I'll give you some hints. Partnership, opportunity, skill sets, second chances for a brighter future, and a growing list of other positive benefits. So what am I talking about? Here's Executive Director of PAAS, Kay Stout, to help us get started on our journey.
I had a vision for the inmate training program at NOCC that was based on the success of the program at Lexington Prison in a previous life. So I knew where I wanted it to go. I wasn't sure it would get there. Our first few trials were literally that. They were tests to see if it would work, not only for us, but for the prison and for the prison personnel. Little did I realize that once I had the right person in place to lead us to that next level, which is Rhonda Norris, we would begin to be recognized for the significant improvements and steps we're taking to not only rehabilitate the inmates, but the dogs, and she is following the guidelines of the Canine Good Citizen curriculum. So we have a standard that we will be judged by, and the dogs will be judged by.
So, have you got an idea where we're going with this? The program Kay envisioned is now the PAAS NOCC partnership. Imagine this, taking shelter dogs to a constructive program set up in a prison where inmates are trained to work with the dogs that will eventually become Canine Good Citizens, then adopted out to someone who really needs them. All the while, the inmates gain training, self-confidence, and other skills they can use in the future. Now that sounds like a win-win to me. There's a lot to talk about today, so before we learn more about the program itself, let's talk about the guidelines for Canine Good Citizenship and see what each dog and handler will ultimately be tested on to pass the AKC Good Citizenship test. Accepting a friendly stranger. This test demonstrates that a dog will allow a friendly stranger to approach it and speak to the handler in a natural, everyday situation without showing shyness or resentment. Sitting politely for petting. This test demonstrates that a dog will allow a friendly stranger to touch it while it's with its handler without showing shyness or resentment. Appearance and grooming. This test shows that the dog will welcome being groomed and examined and will allow someone such as a vet or a groomer to do so. It also shows the handler's care, concern, and sense of responsibility for the dog. Out for a walk, walking on a loose lead. This test demonstrates that the handler is in control of the dog. It confidently shows that the dog is attentive to the handler and is responding to the handler's movements and change of direction. Walking through a crowd. This test shows that the dog can navigate politely in pedestrian traffic and is under control in public places. The dog should not jump on people in the crowd or strain on the leash. Sit down on command and staying in place. This test demonstrates that the dog has training and will respond to the handler's commands to sit or lie down and will remain in the commanded position. The dog must stay in the commanded position until instructed by the handler to release from that position. Coming when called. This test demonstrates that the dog will come when called by the handler. The handler can use commands such as stay, wait, or even not use a command at all. Reaction to another dog. This test demonstrates that the dog can behave politely around other dogs. The dog should show no more than casual interest in another dog and should not go to another dog or its handler. Reaction to distraction. This test demonstrates that the dog is confident at all times when faced with common distracting situations. When faced with a distraction, the dog may express a natural interest and curiosity or appear slightly startled, but should not run away, panic, show aggressiveness, or bark. And finally, supervised separation. This test demonstrates that a dog can be left with a trusted person if necessary and will maintain his training and good manners. The dog does not have to stay in position, but should not continually bark, whine, pace unnecessarily, or show more than a mild agitation or nervousness. Now, any dog that growls, snaps, bites, attacks, or attempts to attack another person or dog is not a good citizen and must be dismissed from the test.
I'm involved in the education part of it, the general animal husbandry, basic veterinary care, grooming, training, basic training, as far as I can go with it. And a lot of it is a learning process for myself as well, because I don't claim to know everything, and have to do a lot of research myself to make sure that I deliver the most accurate information I can, and reaching out to people who know a lot more about it than myself.
Rhonda Norris is one of 3 ladies from PAAS that works closely with the program. We'll meet the other 2 soon, but first, here's more from Rhonda.
We bring animals into our shelter that are either unwanted, lost, or just kind of whatever the circumstances are. We choose those animals to go into our prison program. It creates a relationship with that animal, its handler. They go through lots of training. They come out a very well-mannered dog, and then ultimately into a forever home.
While the idea of dog programs in prisons isn't new, it is new to Vinita. And really, it seems there may be some commonalities among the dogs and inmates alike.
I think they're very similar in some ways. You take a lot of these animals, like I said, they've been kind of, so to say, thrown away, given to shelters, different things like that. Found out just wandering. And that reflects kind of the life of a lot of our inmates as well. So maybe they see some of themselves in these dogs, and they give that extra effort to, like I said, kind of pick that animal back up, just as we do with our inmates. Like I said, we want to encourage positive behaviors and make them productive members of society. And I think they're doing a lot of the same things with these dogs.
I feel like both of the dog and the inmate, when they're put together, they know that they're both not necessarily just forgotten, but they're both stuck in the same type of situation where this dog may have been abandoned, and here's this inmate that he's going to sit here and do his time, and they're just kind of put together, and it's really amazing to see that they connect that way, that they're just almost two in the same, and they really get to know each other and bond with, being abandoned and whatever the inmate has going on. It really comes together nicely.
You may be thinking, well, no one is in prison for singing in church too loud. What or who determines which inmates can work with these dogs? But don't worry, the staff at NOCC carefully chooses which inmates are eligible to participate in this program.
I believe she checks like prior misconduct history, things like that. So we want to ensure that we get the right guys in there. We don't want anybody who's going to mistreat the animals or anything like that. She makes the best of selection she possibly can. And like I said, we'll put guys in the program. We may try some guys out, and if they don't work out, like I said, we'll find a better participant.
And none of this would work without people who really care, like Marilyn Monacle, the second lady from PAAS working closely with the program.
Mostly my training is with the Canine Good Citizen, but I am trying to get certified myself as a certified trainer, so we are learning actually along with the prisoners as well.
We'll hear more from Marilyn in a minute, but first it's important to make clear this program isn't about judgment or condemnation. It's about second chances for both inmate and dogs, to learn and grow together, with the hope that someday both will become productive, respectful servants to society and mankind. So, how does this work?
I think the relationship between the dogs and the inmates have created a very social relationship where some of them were some of the inmates were very shy and not very social. They didn't have very many friends they hung out with, and when they started the PAAS program and got in here, it kind of opened them up. They became more friendly and more of a social butterfly. You know, they had this dog that was bringing them attention, and it was positive attention, and they really enjoyed the relationship and having the companion. And
I noticed that right off, that when the prisoners first started coming into the program, or when I first started training, that they would be really quiet and they wouldn't engage, and they would just kind of sit there and listen. But now they are actively involved in the training, and they're learning how to teach classes, and they are gaining valuable skills for when they are released.
This program creates a human-animal bond that's incredibly important, and it just creates a lot of structure for these guys, maybe that they haven't had, and a lot of responsibility is put on them, and again, like I said, a lot of accountability. So I think they recognize that as being something important, and the whole goal is to get these guys out of jail and so they don't come back into the system. And animals do that.
I love seeing the guys today. They've come such a long ways from when we first started. First of all, it gives them someone to love unconditionally. It gives them that love back that they don't get here. I mean, it's just not the place for that, So they experience that. They experience responsibility. We've worked on personal growth, speaking, complimenting other people, being a leader. So I just think it just benefits them in so many ways that they'll be able to use outside of prison when they get out.
So far, it looks pretty convincing to me from both PAAS and NOCC that what they're doing is worthwhile. Now, let's meet the third lady from PAAS, working closely with the program and the community, someone with a different yet very relatable perspective.
I'm Lacey. I'm the community outreach organizer here at PAAS called Pets for Life. I go door to door, talk to people about their maintaining of their pets, how their health issues, anything that concerns that they have, and provide free services for them: spay and neuter, food, a leash, or a kennel. Right now I'm doing social, so pretty well with the dogs and the inmates. So like whenever they are training, like if they're doing loose leash walking, I'm the person that is intertwining in them to see if they get distracted, and eventually going to start fostering on the weekends too. So that's what I do. Hopefully soon I'll be involved in the agility and get my own training certification, you know what I mean?
Lacey may not be certified to train on the agility course yet, but she is uniquely qualified to do exactly what she's doing with PAAS, the program, and the community.
I grew up in a rough home. I was in foster care since I was 13, got adopted at 17. So whenever I talk about this, and my parents were in and out of the jail system, my whole family. And I was one of those people too. I got put into an RTC, that's kids who violate their probation too many times, or if they were the highest level that they can be, which a high level meaning a horrible situation, like in foster care, they go to this place for a year. Well, I ended up doing that, got out of there, and turned my life around. So whenever I know about like a judgmental-free organization like I'm doing, which is the best thing I can do personally, is because I've been there. I didn't need somebody judging me, you know what I mean? And it's not just about like an animal, but a conversation. I didn't want that judgment, that look that people, you know what I mean? Everybody knows that look. So I mean, for me to be able to turn that all around and have this job where I can have a conversation with somebody and understand where they're coming from and knowing that they are trying their hardest, it's the best experience I could ever imagine.
Most of us have seen that look at one time or another. It's often accompanied with a decision we've made at some point in our lives. As humans, we are creatures of free will, and occasionally we do make bad decisions that we must pay the consequences for. Inmates fortunate enough to be in this program have less of those free will decisions to make than you or I, and a bad decision could cost them more than just penal consequence.
I said if we should happen to come across any incidents where any behaviors should warrant them being removed from the program, so there's always somebody ready and willing to take their place. And those guys realize that as well, and like I said, for the most part, they don't want to mess that up, so they're going to do the right thing and continue to, like I say, grow and make this a positive program.
In the military world, if you know somebody who's a Marine, he or she figures they're one of the few, the proud, the Marine. In the inmate training program at NOCC or any prison, those inmates who say yes, they would like to be in the program, have taken a huge step in saying they are going to live an exemplary life. They're going to follow all the rules. They're going to have no infractions that in any way remove them from the program. And once in a while, for those who fall short, you will discover that they will do everything they can to get back into the program. So it becomes a sought-after assignment, and it gives them a social elite status that they've been selected to be a part of that training program at NOCC. That's huge for everybody, including the inmates and their families.
He's more positive. He loves working with dogs. Joseph, I call him Joseph. His name is Lloyd Harrison, and he is an animal lover. He loves animals. When he calls, he talks more about the dog that he takes care of, and he also talks about positive things that he's going to make when he gets out. That's a big change that he's going to do. It makes me feel very happy that he's got something inside to do other than, negative things. My little brother, Lloyd Harrison, has changed a lot since he's been in that program.
Well, it gives him something to do instead of just laying around feeling sorry for himself. And he's always been an animal lover. And we've always owned pets, dogs, cats, whatever kind. And I think it's really great for them because it keeps them busy, it keeps them out of trouble, and they've got to pass a drug test to stay in the place, and they get a few perks, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And I think it's just giving him something to do. He's even thinking about maybe trying to do it as a professional once it gets out. I've seen a lot of articles, I've seen programs on TV about service dogs, and it's really beneficial for both the inmate and the dog and the person that's receiving the dog. It takes a lot of training to get a service dog. Right now, they're basically training the dogs to be adopted out. But James says they're talking about giving him a dog that he'll have trained into a service dog, which takes a lot more training, a lot more work than just getting them ready for adoption. He's been doing that ever since he got in the program, because that's about his fourth or fifth dog, and he's trained every one of them, about the same, and he's having a connection with all of them. And they're all different dogs, and they're different breeds, and they're different personalities. But I think he's got that training down pretty good for these dogs, because he seems to know what he's doing, and that's giving him more of an incentive than anything else to stay on the straight and narrow, because he does like that dog program, and I think he's good at it.
On the short list of inmate family members willing to communicate about this program, I was only able to reach a few of them, so our perspective from inmate family is somewhat limited. But have you noticed yet this is all pointing a certain direction, that this program is something worth doing, and that having something constructive to occupy the time of idle hands, especially for the greater good, is an excellent idea and an investment for the future.
I think the biggest benefit of this program are there's so many dogs everywhere, all over the world, that don't have homes, and we get to bring them in here and they get to be loved, they get to be taken care of, they get to have a family, and it really changes the dog's personality, and it changes the inmate's personality. And I think it's something that just so many people think, oh, it's just a dog program, when really we're changing so many lives, including the animals and the inmates.
They've taken different steps to provide different training to some of these guys. So some of them have that extra option of maybe that as a career when they leave. Like I said, giving them a little bit of hope, giving them some purpose and like something to look forward to. Like I said, and the guys who do the right thing, we encourage them to stay in this program and see it through.
They learn how to follow rules. They learn how to be firm with their dogs. They understand what it means now to give and receive love in a way they probably never have before. And as a result, they not only become better inmates while they're in prison serving their term, but they make a significant step forward to help them when they get out of prison.
We are also teaching them business skills along with the training. So, and that's new. I've given them a few things on the business aspect of if they decided to get into dog training, and we're going to continue that business aspect of it too.
We're trying to figure out ways that we can get certifications for these guys, legitimate professional training certifications for them. Those that are wanting to go on to maybe become more familiar with veterinary medicine, or maybe explore the thought of veterinary technology or something like that, maybe offer some college credits or make it where they can get college credits. More opportunities for them.
We are also bringing in a person that's going to teach agility, and they have an agility course at NOCC, and that'll be exciting when that trainer gets up there and we can have some of those dogs get involved in agility.
That is exciting news, but the guys aren't letting the wait for a trainer hold up progress.
They really have been on their own with the agility course, and we've given them some books to go by, and they have been working on it. So those dogs can, 2 of them at least, can go through the agility course, and that's part of their daily routine, is working on the agility course.
And now, thanks to Warden Hamilton and the staff at NOCC, we're going to go behind the razor wire to see the guys and their dogs in action. Remember, like the inmate handlers, each dog comes from a different situation, and everything you're about to see is mostly the result of their own reading, research, experience, and knowledge sharing amongst each other. This is only training, and an early stage at that for many of the dogs. By the time the next graduation comes around, many of these dogs will likely have transformed into very obedient, well-behaved, canine good citizens ready for adoption. And as for the inmates, they'll have grown too and gained more experience in team playing and knowledge to use on future dogs. So here they are in action, the 6th class of dogs to be trained by inmates at NOCC.
Come on. Good girl, sit. Good girl, good girl. Very good. Sit.
What did you see in that video? Did you see the resilience of man's best friend? Could you see that some of the dogs had been rescued from bad situations? Did you see hardened criminals or human beings? Now, let's go into cruise control. I sat down one-on-one with a few of the guys and asked them to share their thoughts on the program to get an idea of how it has affected their lives in prison. How has this opportunity to learn, grow, and do good changed their experience in OCC? Here are their answers.
Most of my life, my dad's been in and out of a place like this, and I kind of followed him around. And since I've started this program, things have changed. I've done a lot more growing up, a lot more maturing. And I call and talk to my dad about, the dogs all the time. And he always has questions after question about it, and how's this and how's that. He's now been out for a little over 3 years and doing well himself. And he's excited about it. He's excited hearing about it. Now my mom, on the other hand, my mom thinks it's great. She can tell a change in me. I'm not much, used to not be much on talking, but yeah, like I said, it's changed me a great deal.
In my case, everything's my fault. Everything in their case, really ain't their fault. They just kind of got thrown in whatever position they're in. That does give them a second chance, and that's what we're looking for too, is kind of a second chance when we get out there. And it kind of gives us purpose, because there's really not much else here. It just feels like it's really just a waste of time, that we're not really progressing anywhere. This way I feel like we're actually doing something positive and for the community as well.
It gives the inmates a whole different outlook on things. Short example, since I've been here, I've noticed some of your gang members, your tougher guys or whatever, just break down and be real gentle and puppy, and want to pet your dog and stuff. And yeah, it helps with the tension a lot, as well as it not only helps us as trainers, but it helps the people all over. You can walk a dog across the yard and everybody wants to, can I pet your dog, and ask you about it. So it absolutely helps.
The program definitely gives the guys that get into it a sense of responsibility. It makes them feel alive again, to be a part of society. And it helps them to move forward, to know that they got a chance. These dogs got a second chance. We got a second chance as soon as we move past this part of our life. And the program definitely, it does that for us. That responsibility is what we need. We need routine in our life, work in our life, love in our life, and we get all that from this program. And then we're going to take that with us when we leave here.
Being in the program makes my day. It makes me have self-worth. I have something to do every day when I get up. They live with us 24/7 in our cells, and we have class, and we get tutored in health care, grooming, and just general training. And most all of us start out with just a blank slate, a dog, and we go from step 1 all the way up to the obedience when they graduate the class. And we've been lucky enough that every one of our dogs have been one of the first ones to get adopted. So our last dog was adopted the day we got him, and he did real well in his obedience, and he left us on graduation day. And occasionally we do get pictures and comments about how they're doing. And that's why I'm in the program. And I love it. I plan to be here in the program as long as they'll let me. And I hope that's a long time, but then at the same time I hope I'm out of the Department of Corrections as soon as possible. So,
patience is something that I really struggled with before this program, both before I came to prison and while I was in prison. And you have to be patient with the dog. There's no other way to train a dog other than being patient and being persistent. We learn so many things about ourselves, or I have learned so many things about myself since coming to this program. Opening my eyes a lot more as far as what I need to do to train the dog in the correct way, and not just one way is the only way. Listening to other people, not just the trainers, but the other guys that are in the program. You know, maybe watch them and how they got something done, how they got their dog to do this, or how they got their dog not to do this.
Kind of like working with a group.
Absolutely. We're like a team, and it works great like that. If someone's struggling at something, you know, somebody else will help them on that end.
The whole system's a bit kind of a team effort. That everything we do, that we're there as a team, not as an individual. Kind of like we're all just one big pack. And kind of as a founder, I came in the second class, so it's been about a year now since I've been in it. I feel it's kind of my responsibility to step in and try to help a lot of the people that learn the things that I've learned along the way. When we first started, we really didn't have that. We didn't have much help at all. A lot of it we just got to figure out on our own. And I learned a lot, probably more from the mistakes that we made with the dog than the things we were taught.
You know, to be able to do that, to take a dog that's been abused and you know, regain that dog's trust again, and have that dog go back out into society and help somebody with PTSD, or, you know, even more service dog to help find bombs or any kind of thing. You know, that's wonderful.
Our goal is not to have the best dog in the world. I mean, it's nice to get one if you can get one, but it's to help somebody else outside. You train, you make them obedient, and then you know when they go, they're going to get a good home. And that's the greatest part of the whole thing. It's sad, but for me, it's the best thing. It shows that we did a good job with them. And like you said, a lot of these dogs come in and they're scared. They get bombarded with people petting them and interrupting what you're trying to do, but sooner or later, Trixie didn't have the problem. The dog we had before, tail was tucked, ears were back, just absolutely shy. But after we got maybe a month or two into it, tail started coming up, they started adjusting. No telling where they came from. We do get hints every once in a while. This one happened to be from Altus as a stray. And I'm not sure where the one I had before was, but it turned out it was a big dog, but it's like a big baby, you know. It was very, very affectionate, but it took a while to gain the trust. And once you do that, they're like another appendage. They're with you, whether you have them on a leash or not. But the rules, we have to keep them on a leash. But it's nice when you go out in our backyard where we play. You let them off the leash, you call them, they come running back to you, and that's always a good feeling. You know that you started that trust, you started the bond.
I believe that this is the best life most, if not all, the dogs that are here have ever had. Just simple fact that they've been on the streets, they've been in homes where they're abused, not fed. Our last dog, her front teeth were ground down all the way to the gums because she was left on a chain and they wouldn't feed her and she tried to chew through the chain. So to say that these dogs are not happy is, I think, the furthest from the truth that it could be. I don't think any of these dogs are anything but happy. They get to go play out. They got a huge backyard. They get to go play with all their friends. We have a bucket about that big full of toys for them to play with.
Here, your efforts go throughout the entire dog's life. So my last dog, she's now a therapy dog for a psychologist's private practice. So now I know that her life is going to affect every person that comes in there and interacts with that dog. So I get a lot of gratification from that.
Feels pretty good. It's really, it helps with your social skills a lot. You know, my social skills come up a lot, but I enjoy it. I enjoy working with them.
It helps you with learning, like I said, be patient, be focused, try to figure out what you want the dog to do, and then it's a matter of just building up to it. Repetition. Same way with us. We have to be forced into repetition sometimes, but it's the same thing.
There's just so much good in it, just for me, just kind of keeping my mental stability, because it's hard. It's a stressful place. You're surrounded by a lot of idiots, a lot of trouble, misfits. And I try to stay away from all that. Sometimes, I mean, even from the staff, I just get really frustrated, and that's when bad things do start happening. And with the dogs, I can go in there and spend time with the dog, or go outside and play and forget about it. So it kind of gets my mind off the normal stress. So I guess for me, they're somewhat of a therapy dog.
For me, the most rewarding thing is when I get to, well, last time we got to hand the leash over to the new owners. They were here in Vinita. You don't get to see that much. Normally you just hand them over to the trainers, they put them in a truck and they go off. This time we actually got to meet them. They were there at graduation. We got to talk to them one-on-one and then turn the leash over to them. And it is sad sometimes, but you got to remember that's what we're here for. That's what we do. We say, give them a second chance, you know, and make them worth being a pet, a family pet, or whatever they want to do, you know, with it. But we at least give the foundation.
It's going pretty good, you know, for the biggest part. It's going great, in my own opinion.
You have to be willing to obey rules to keep you in the program. Otherwise, look for something else to do. But it's rewarding. There's several, almost every class, somebody's going up for parole or going up for, got commutations or all kinds of things. Some make it through and they're out of here. Some don't. They're still in it, but they're still in the program. It's like I said, it's a very good way to grow. A lot of people in DOC, not on this particular yard, but just general. I've learned, because I had no concept at all about prison life, but a lot of people here just haven't grown up. It's pure and simple. They might be 30 years old and act like they're 12, you know, or whatever. They got their own rules, they're going to do it no matter what, they get in trouble. This at least offers you a chance to settle down, get focused, have patience, do what you need to do, stay out of trouble, and you'll get through this a lot quicker. At least that's my philosophy. It'll eat you up if you don't.
By now, you should have a clear picture of the PAAS NOCC partnership and its inner workings. Would you agree that it's hard to find a negative here? Finally, it's time for graduation, the day the handlers say goodbye to one class and receive another. And now, the 5th graduating class at NOCC.
Okay, we'll get started. Thank you everyone for attending the graduation. This is our graduating class. And my name is Ashley O'Brien. I'm the PAAS program coordinator here. This program has really grown in the last year. We started out with 2 dogs and now we have 10. And lots more inmates and lots more staff that help, and I appreciate everyone that says help. It's all the little bits and pieces that really makes this program work. And we'll get started.
And of course, at one. I want to thank everybody who came today. Certainly going to thank you guys because you're willing to do for this day to train our dog. It's been a long time dream of mine that NOCC will become known as a training center. We're helping dogs not only get a second chance, but helping the inmates as well as they become our trainers. And then eventually having our animals the dogs go out to people who need therapy dogs, not a service dog or a dog for somebody who is in a wheelchair, but someone who has PTSD, autism, and so on. So it's a growing program for us. I could not be more thrilled with the support I get from the warden, from the staff, from everybody. It's what makes this program work. And none of this would work without my employees who go the extra mile every time I need them. So raise your hand if you work for me. Thank you. Because at some point you've all been stretched to the max. And this really started with Terry Brandt, Terry Raintree. Terry came to me and said I told her about the program. She said she would be interested in doing it, and she got us off in 1st and 2nd grade. And I kind of think we're junior high now, and the best is yet to come. Thanks for coming.
Well, welcome everybody. This again is PAAS Crew's 5th graduating class. And first and foremost, thank you, Terry, for getting this program off to a great start. This is also pretty close to our 1-year anniversary. just within a couple of weeks, so congratulations to you guys too. Some of you may have noticed that the program's changed a little bit. We've extended the duration to 16 weeks, and we felt that with the program being a little bit longer, that their dogs became more proficient at the commands that they were given, and they also became more proficient trainers as well. So that doesn't mean now that the dogs necessarily have to leave the program at 16 weeks. If we feel like that they may become service dogs, we'll keep them in the program longer. This also helps the trainers to become more proficient at their training skills. So we're pretty proud of that. That in the end is our ultimate goal. We've also added a lot of other components to the program, such as general health, grooming, canine physical and behavior development, interpersonal skills, teaching skills, and as we move forward, we'll be adding business practices and managing a training environment. We've thrown a lot of information at these guys in 16 weeks. They have not thrown anything back. They've taken it all real well. So thanks for that, guys. So our mission is simple, and that is to provide training and education for both the inmate and the dog, resulting in permanent homes for the dogs and a skill set for the trainers that can be used immediately upon their release into the community and society. As a means for employment, we feel that the program is on track for changing the lives of disabled veterans, people, animals, and those incarcerated. These trainers have worked incredibly hard for the last 16 weeks, and our goal was simple, in that we wanted the dogs to be proficient in all the commands and taught so that they would be successful wherever they went. Sometimes it seemed redundant and repetitive, but each week the dogs became more and more proficient at and focused at each command. Our goal was not to see how many new commands we could learn, but to become the very best with the very basics. Within just a few weeks, the dogs were very calm and well-mannered. The more we worked, the better they became. In some cases, the trainers got lessons themselves. They quickly learned they had to become the attitude of authority while being firm, gentle, and loving. They worked as a family unit. So congratulations to all the dogs and their trainers. They've done an amazing job, and it shows. Each one of these dogs is as unique as its trainer. And for the last 4 months, trainers and their dogs have bonded, cohabited, and learned to cope with the various and sometimes impossible situations. Some dogs will begin a new journey from this day, while some will remain with their trainers to move forward in their training. For all of us, it's an exciting day and somewhat bittersweet. All right. So each dog in this training program has earned its canine good citizens and its good community good citizens. Congratulations on that too. Done a great job. So at this time, we'll go ahead and call our trainers up, and they have a little bit to say, and then we'll hand them their awards. So our first ones, Jeremy Thomas and Solon Scott with Bonnie.
You got the microphone?
Yeah, check. Stay on. Bonnie's a 2-year-old Shepherd Border Collie mix. Simon's my turn. She once belonged to an elderly couple, and her husband had passed. They had no choice but to surrender her to the shelter. She's been adopted by a psychologist and has a private practice. After some further training, she'll be a therapy dog within the practice. I'm very fortunate to have provided the fundamentals in order to move forward. I'm approaching my 12th month of the PAAS program. Like all things, it had its share of ups and downs. I've had moments with the dog I've cherished forever. However, there have been some not so great moments. Despite all the struggles, I've kept moving forward. Bonnie's my 4th dog and has been my best student. Not only is she a smart girl, but she's a great temperament and I've learned to train the previous 3. I didn't just learn what to teach them to do, but just importantly what not to do, eliminating and preventing bad habits. As all experiences, we learn from our mistakes, but again, I kept moving forward. I've learned extensive skill set along the way, whether leadership skills, being a pack leader, discipline, putting the dog before myself, and responsibility, as well as many other skills.
These are skills I can apply to my daily life, in the workplace when I'm released. These are skills I can apply to keep moving forward.
My name is Solomon Scott, and I'd just like to thank, I don't have a whole lot to say, but I'd like to thank the warden and Ms. O'Brien for letting me in the PAAS program, and for all the help Ms. O'Brien has given us. I would also like to thank all the people at the shelter that have helped us with the program. Ron, Marilyn, and Lacey have helped us, helped all of us understand the ways to teach and care for our dogs. And to all the men in the program, thank you for helping me with my first dog. Bonnie.
That's enough. That's enough.
Well, our dog is Georgia Simon, so I'm going to talk about Georgia first. Georgia came to us, we've had her for about 6 months, to replace a couple other dogs. One that had protection issues and the other one that had female issues. So we got her early last class, and she stayed on through for this one.
No.
And even though she's a little shaggy, she's one of the prettiest dogs. We groomed her yesterday to the fullest. She was totally different today. But as I realized this morning, she's probably one of my favorites. I don't know, I laid her in, give her some love this morning, and I realized she was leaving. I'm really going to miss her. But we're back, Georgia. I just want to say thank you. Congratulations. Sit. Say thank you. And now Simon. Simon is a face PAAS. He's going to be here forever, which I don't think he really cares. Everybody loves him, you know, just like their own dog. One bad thing was we got the luck of the draw, and Simon has got hip dysplasia. So everybody came together at PAAS and helped us to do a GoFundMe page, and there's a lot of nice people out there that donated enough money to get for him to have a surgery. So he's leaving on Thursday to have his surgery, and he'll be back. But it's going to be a little while. But he's such a good dog. I'm still proud of him. Simon, come here, Simon. Come. Oh, now you don't want to come? Yeah. Congratulations, Daddy. Say thank you. Say thank you. That's all we got.
Vaughn Clapper and James Fleming with girlfriend. Okay.
We've been in this program for nearly a year. Seen dogs come and go, maybe even shed a tear or two. But it hasn't been completely fulfilled until today. We were able to meet Girlfriend's new owner and see our work and time feel their needs firsthand. PAAS is always good about relaying info about the past dogs when they can, but to see and meet her new owners is an added treat. We hope we've done our job. She fits in with her new family as well as she has with ours. PAAS has gone above and beyond throughout this last year, but I'd like to personally thank Ms. O'Brien. She deals with her crap on a daily basis and always meets us with a smile. I think we overlook that sometimes. We want her to get the recognition she deserves.
Hi, my name is Vaughn. I'm co-trainer with Girlfriend. don't have really a lot to say to add to his comments, but give you a little background. Girlfriend was adopted a year ago, but her new owner brought her back, surrendered her back to PAAS. What kind of breed it is, kind of I guess. Just whatever. We've had all kinds of different people tell us different breeds. But what is really important is she loves to be petted and scratched on her chest and ears. She loves peanut butter. That's the best treat ever. And I'm pleased to tell you, she's been adopted, like Fleming said here, to a couple here in Vinita that was looking for a protector and a companion. And we couldn't have found a better dog.
You don't have to worry now. If the cat walks by, he'll bark.
All right, Boyd Harrison and Levi Burris with Max. Come on up, guys.
My name is Levi Burris, and this is Boyd Harrison. I jumped into this program about a year middle into it. Ended up with Max. Max is a purebred 2-year-old German Shepherd. He was surrendered by his owner at 2 separate times at Falls Valley Shelter. Max will remain in the program. My brother is training coaches that go on to get PTSD special support dogs. He wasn't much of a father before I came in. Now I'm going to get him safe. Next. Next.
Thanks, guys. Brett Haley and Mickey Anderson. Come on up, guys. With Pista.
I'm going to utilize the podium because I've only got one piece of paper. First, let me go ahead and get to the right place. There's just so much I can say about old Piston. I'm going to try to keep it short. Yeah, right. Piston is listed as a 2-year-old mixed breed shepherd, but I don't see it. I see a bulldog mixed with either or perhaps some dairy cow. Piston, he came to PAAS for transport by partner shelter. I guess they found him running down the road or something. However, that was not to be his destiny. He was handpicked for this program by Mickey here, and there couldn't have been a better choice, not just in regards to compatibility, but in terms of his willingness as well as eagerness to learn new things. Piston is extremely intelligent and responds tremendously to training. He'll pretty much do anything you want him to for a treat. His command list is far more extensive than the prior 3 dogs we've trained. However, that is solely attributed to him being in the program twice as long, which we certainly do not finish. Piston knows how to sit, stand, lay down, sit, stay, down, stay, waits before entering doorways, jumps on objects when you want him to, recalls, spins around, shakes with either paw, gives high fives, even high tens. Piston can be recalled when running or playing, and sits unprovoked when stopping while walking on a leash or visiting with other people. He is learning to be a brace for helping while sitting or standing, as well as turning on and off light switches. He even knows how to speak on command, but most of all, he loves to sit on his box in our cell and catch treats in all the various creative ways we can throw him at. Or bag, or leg. Piston history is unknown prior to coming to us. How one could ever manage to let him get away from them is beyond me. And the old adage, one man's trash is one man's treasure, is definitely comes to mind, because that's exactly what it's been to Mickey and I. However, he is certainly writing his own future. Piston is one of the happiest go-lucky dogs I've ever seen. That given the chance, he would just run and play all day. That's all he wants to do. So you see him, he wants to grab the ball, play. There's never a dull moment with this dog. Piston not only brightens up the mood of everyone he comes in contact with, but he enriches the quality of their lives, which is just one of the reasons why he remained in the program for more advanced training in PTSD or even therapy. He's changed our lives, so He's changed our lives, so I know without a doubt that he's going to change the life of someone else that deserves it. And that's really what this is about. You know, right now I'm actually taking anger management classes, and that's not because I'm an angry little man. It's because I wanted to better understand the dynamics of my psyche when confronted with choices that result in negative consequences versus positive outcomes. And I can truly say that in this particular situation, the positive outcome was born directly from that negative negative consequence. That doesn't always happen. And I'm sure everybody knows that it does not always happen. Sometimes more negativity comes from that. And really, isn't that what the ultimate goal of rehabilitation? I believe so. And I don't mean to ramble on, so I would just like to convey our gratitude for this program and the people who run it because we love it so much. Mickey and I would like to thank, first and foremost, Ms. Terry Brandt for laying the foundation of this program. It has evolved, and for what it's evolved into. She has selflessly dedicated her time and energy to us in this program, and that dedication did not go unnoticed. No one's does. Absolutely no one's does, period. We would also like to thank Ms. Rhonda, Ms. Marilyn, and Ms. Lacey for continuing this program, and not just teaching us advanced training techniques, but in furthering our education in the history and anatomy of canines in general. Again, your time does not go unnoticed. Thank you. Miss Kay, thank you for ever brightening the mood every time we see you. You always got something awesome to say. The stories are great, and you're the epitome of an open door policy, so thank you. Warden Case Hampton, we do certainly appreciate your support in this program. Without you, and I'll be collectively, everybody's a cog in this, and I understand that, but without each of us individually, it's not going to be what it is. So thank you very much.
Brian, appreciate you too,
Chief, absolutely. The staff in general for being so accommodating for us and sometimes putting up with our, you know what?
It's a blessing. It truly is.
We certainly do appreciate that. And last but certainly not least, Miss Ashley O'Brien, again, for everything that you do. She's our #1 supporter and advocate of this program. And anytime that we have something, she not only lets us vent whenever we have a little bit of a problem, but she kicks some things into gear and gets things that we feel that we need, that she feels that we need in place to help this program. And I know that with her behind it, it's going to become everything that your guys' dreams will be. So thank you very much. None of this would work without you. We certainly do appreciate you. Thank you for coming. And Piston, I'm gonna follow you here. Thank you for being who you are. Up, stand, sit. No, sit. Hey, buddy. Thank you. Have a kiss. Kiss it. Have a kiss. Let me give you a kiss. Let me give you a kiss. Thank you.
Brent said, Ms. O'Brien is our advocate. She does everything for us, so we're going to present her with a thank you card from us inmates because we appreciate her.
Quiet, please. Yes, she does a good job.
All right. Well, at this time, we'll go ahead and call you up. We just have some awards and certificates for our trainers, and then we'll get on with gift certification next. So, Jeremy and Solon. Congratulations.
All right.
The blue ribbon.
Jeff and Tim.
Why you don't get one? They'll make you one.
Congratulations. You did an awesome job. Bung James. on in. Congratulations, guys. Awesome job. Lloyd and Levi. And Matt. Congratulations. Brett and Nick.
Thank you.
Look, Mom, we did it.
So that pretty much concludes our graduation. Georgia and Bonnie will leave tonight to go to their new homes in Colorado. They'll be there in the morning. And those that are leaving will get their new dogs today. So, congratulations, guys. All right.
Those guys have done a great job, and they're getting better at it. Congrats to them, PAAS, and NOCC on a job well done. Before we wrap up, here are a few closing arguments and final thoughts.
If more prisons looked at this, more facilities looked at this, there'd be more programs. There's not much of a negative at all. You know, I put in a little bit of time for it. All of the security staff put a little bit of time in for it. And we have volunteers that are helping to pay for it. And I think if people just look from a distance, they're kind of scared of the program. But when they get in here and they actually see it, it's not so scary. And a lot of facilities could very, very well benefit from it. And I think we would be taken kind of more seriously of it being just another program.
I think that the community responds so well to it. Like once they find out that we have this prison training program, their eyes just light up. It's like, hey, they don't care just about the pets, they care about people too. Obviously, if we're having a prison program, it's not just all about, hey, dogs, cats, what are you doing, how are they being, but how are you? How are you handling your animals? How do you feel? What do you need? And it's just an all-around just great experience to have.
Think about people that are incarcerated that are looking to come back into society, and what can we do to help them fit back into society after they get out of prison. And a program like this does exactly that. It gives them a purpose, it lets them give back, and it gives them skills that they can use that they might not have coming out of prison and just, hello, here I am back in the world again.
It's a real positive thing. It's positive to see them go into this program. It's real interesting to watch them go in the first day because they're wild and they don't know what to do, and they're in a new place and they've got new handlers. And then it's so rewarding to see, sometimes not even 24 hours, these dogs are calm and okay with their surroundings, you know. And then as we go through the training, as the weeks go by, then you start seeing the bonds and the training's really taking shape, and you've got, you know, this dog that somebody's thrown away because of maybe a behavior problem, and all of a sudden you've got this dog that's the most well-mannered dog and that loves its handler. So that part of it's really good. It gives me goosebumps. It does. It's a feel-good thing. It is for all of us. You know, not just the handlers, but all of us.
Thanks to the support of Casey Hamilton, the warden at NOCC, we see this partnership not only improving the lives of the dogs we take, but the significant role it plays in rehabilitating, which is a word not often used in prisons in Oklahoma, rehabilitating prisoners and giving them a second chance to make a difference.
I mean, I feel a big change with my little brother, Lloyd Anderson. And I feel that it would change a lot more prisoners if they are able to be in the program the same way my little brother is.
I love seeing these guys' confidence just go through the roof. Like they come in and they're all timid, and because they haven't really had a dog skill. I mean, they've had dogs or something, but to be able to come out of the end of the graduation and being like, I'm a trainer, and seeing that shoulder just come up, it's amazing.
In addition, kind of as a side benefit, the warden will tell you that when the dogs are out walking in the yard, everybody smiles a little more.
We spend a lot of money. We have, we supply all the dog food. We do all that. So donors and anything like that would want to help us in any type of financial way would be great. Training equipment, food, medical supplies, those are always needed things. So there's a lot of ways that anybody can help.
Like right now, what I see is a lot of people needing help building fences. Because right now, Vinita has a law that you can't have your dog on a tied up, like a tether or anything without a fence. And so a lot of people who aren't physically able to build a fence need that fence building done. And so that's pretty much where I see that we need volunteers to help us out, or else it's just me. And I try to say that I do build a good fence, but it's probably mediocre.
And if you'd like to support PAAS, you can give them a call, find them online, or connect with them through social media. For the Peaceful Animal Adoption Shelter in Vinita, I'm Tim Stevens. Thanks so much for watching, and be on the lookout for our next video, where we'll ride to Colorado on a transport to the Denver Dumb Friends League. So long.